Alright homies, what's up everybody? The Khaiza is back, we haven't done like a Marvel like thing in a fucking long while, like not like a movie review, well, movie review is technically counts as like Marvel related, but just covering Marvel like in general, sort of thing, covering Marvel in general. What did we have long ago on our, YouTube thing? Marvel news at San Diego Comic-Con. Damn, we made this shit back 2 fucking years ago, and it was all about like the multiverse saga. Damn, that video got like published at like July 27th, 2022. Wow. And it was like a 1-hour video of me talking about like the next phase after the multiverse, after the Infinity War saga. That's right. Right. So, it's that time of year again, right? San Diego Comic-Con, the annual comic book convention for comic book nerds, enthusiasts, otakus, weebs, all that stuff, right? We got a lot of Marvel stuff because everybody was looking into the MCU, right? We also got like some stuff like here and there. We got like a new Hellboy trailer with a new guy as Hellboy. I took a look at it and I'm like, you know, like, it's okay, but I still prefer Ron Perlman as like the Hellboy for me, right? Yeah, of course, it's like old with the times, like, Khaiza, you're stuck with the old, but I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's the Hellboy we got like used to. Shit got like 2 movies, one in the Golden Army, and Hellboy was just a fun, Ron Perlman's version of Hellboy was a fun fucking character, so it was really dope. Then we got like the second one, which was like David Harbour, or Stranger Things man, Jim Hopper as the iconic character. Not that bad, but still, it's like he whines and moans and pisses a lot, you know, so it's like, it wasn't that great. I don't know if there was like anything DC related. I'm pretty sure DC is like, well, mostly there. I mean, they did announce like My Adventures with Superman Season 3, which is getting hell a lot of buzz, especially, right, with Kara and like, you know, some of like the Brainiac Season 2 stuff. It's really like dope. I gotta like check that out. But a lot of not just like comic book fans, but also general fans of the MCU were having their eyes toward the MCU stuff, and lo and behold, we got a whole bunch of information that was like dropped on us about the MCU, right? Announces panels, celebrate Deadpool and Wolverine, a lot of like Deadpool Wolverine stuff. We also got to see like some comic book advancements for other like issues, so that's really like dope to see. But we got announcements of just other like movies in general, right? We got Thunderbolts, which is going to be like the Marvel's version of Suicide Squad for DC. It's going to have Red Guardian, Black Widow, Winter Soldier, Ghost, I forget like who else, but yeah, this is pretty much their version of Suicide Squad, and yeah, you'll get like a tease of it. Yeah, upcoming took stage at San Diego Comic-Con, right? Showing off some stuff. We get some stuff at Captain America Brave New World, which is, you know, some Q&A stuff, just chilling with the fans and stuff who went to SDCC. The Fantastic Four made an appearance, and it's actually now dubbed the Fantastic Four First Steps. And we actually got a whole lot of shit with Fantastic Four. One of them being like I didn't know about this with Fantastic Four, like they got like a flying fucking car. Bruh. Like a hovermobile or some shit. I did not know that. as much as I remember from Fantastic Four, especially from like the movies, I remember them having like a jet more than anything. Maybe. But a flying car? No. That's like some old school shit. And we got like a tease of like Galactus. I don't know where it's at, but it's like Galactus being like the big fucking cosmic entity that he is, the eater of worlds, right? Last time we heard of Galactus anything was that he's going to be played by Ralph Ineson. Fantastic fucking actor that did roles like Sid in Final Fantasy 16. And he also did like the father figure in that one horror movie called The Witch. So that's really dope to see. And this is the big announcement. I think I got like a what was it? A Twitter post about it. So there was a reveal of the next MCU phases of Marvel's big like movie lineup, and the crowd like got to witness like a lot of like familiar looking faceplates on a lot of like figures that, oh shit, they're gonna announce Doctor Doom. Guess who's Doctor Doom? Robert Downey Jr. Yes, right? So there was a whole like prelude to this, right? So after like Captain America Brave New World and then Thunderbolts got like, you know, teased and stuff here and there, Marvel announced their next big like Avengers products, next big Avengers movies, right? Which were originally going to be called Avengers Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars. Those were the two big Avengers films that everybody is going to be looking, having their eyes peeled towards for the later future, for the next like 2 years, right? But there was this panel, and we get to see like a lot of Doom, right? Because, you know, Doom is going to be like a long while from now, as we originally like had in our heads. Doom is going to be like around the Fantastic Four, and he's going to be pivotal in Secret Wars, but not that too soon as what we would expect in this Comic-Con panel. So the Russo brothers, Joe and Anthony Russo, made their on-panel debut, and they announced the first Avengers film in a long while after Endgame, and it's going to be called Avengers Doomsday. So it's going to be all about Doctor Doom, and as we mentioned, or as we saw, Robert Downey Jr. is going to be the iconic alchemy doctor. Now, this got a lot of buzz on social media from Twitter, from like YouTube, from all sorts of different like channels, Reddit, TikTok, you know, all that shit. So the Khaiza is gonna be like discussing this like in particular, right? Some of like the pros and cons of the Robert Downey Jr. inclusion, why he's like coming back, the Russo brothers coming back to make the next Avengers movie and Secret Wars, and just overall this like this debate going on like social media about RDJ as Doctor Doom, right? So when I first saw this was on Sunday. This was on Sunday morning. I didn't know what was like going on. I just woke up from bed, grabbed like my phone, opened up X, and I saw like trending Doctor Doom was like everywhere. And then I see who it is. It's Robert Downey Jr. And then I immediately thought, this is like the first thing that came into my mind. I'm like, that is kind of interesting that one, Robert Downey Jr. is back. because after like Endgame, that would be like technically his last role in like, well, not technically like acting, because he continued to do acting after Avengers Endgame, and now he's like an Academy Award winner for Best Supporting Actor from his film Oppenheimer, right? Well, not from his film, from Cillian Murphy's Oppenheimer, you know? So, yeah, he's a star-studded like actor, but to have him be back, right, which he later sat down with prior interviews saying that like, oh, RDJ is down for being back on the saddle in the MCU, but we didn't expect it to be like this soon, and for playing like a character that we all know and love from not just like comics but comic book adaptations like TVs and animated shows of the like, right? So here are my pros and cons about like just the inclusion of Robert Downey Jr. being back in the saddle. Again, right? Interesting, right? The reason I say interesting is that I had a lot of different thoughts going about this, but the main one was that I feel like there are a lot of other candidates to play the role for Robert Downey Jr. for Victor Von Doom of Latveria, right? And we'll go over some of them, right? In like iconic scenes. I had an idea of going to be playing as Victor Von Doom. This guy, Mads Mikkelsen. Mads Mikkelsen as the iconic Doctor from Hell.
I imagine what you see and learn touches everything else in your mind. Your values and decency are present, yet shocked at your associations, appalled at your dreams. No thoughts in the bone arena of your skull for things you love.
Whose profile are you working on? Whose profile is he working on?
I'm sorry, Will. Observing is what we do. I can't shut mine off any more than you can shut yours off.
Please, don't psychoanalyze me. You won't like me when I'm psychoanalyzed.
Will.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go give a lecture on psychoanalyzing.
On psychoanalyzing?
Maybe we shouldn't poke him like that, Doctor. Perhaps a less direct approach.
What he has is pure empathy. He can assume your point of view, or mine, and maybe some other points of view that scare him. It's an uncomfortable gift, Jack. Perception's a tool that's pointed on both ends. This cannibal you have him getting to know, I think I can help Goodwill see his face.
Yeah, like Mads Mikkelsen, I had it like in my brain, like as like a good candidate for Victor Von Doom. Another character that I had an inkling towards, like the iconic like dictator from Latveria, Javier Bardem, right? If anybody doesn't know Javier Bardem, he did a lot of roles like back in the day. I think it was like an Academy Award winner for No Country for Old Men. And especially like in this role that I got introduced to him. Look at him just like grilling down Jeffrey Rush.
My name is Captain Barbosa, and I stand before you with cordial intent.
Do you hear that? This pirate wishes to be cordial. So let me show you what my cordiality is. Hombre, every time I tap my sword, one of your men will die. So I suggest you speak quickly. Ole ahí. Might want to go a bit faster, Capitan.
I mean, like, the heavy, like, accent for Javier Bardem, like, is there. Like, it's very, like, apparent. But, dude, imagine, like, fucking Javier Bardem. There be scurvy-ridden dogs. So they're, like, potential candidates. I would feel other potential candidates to be, what was it? Victor Von Doom, right? Like, yeah, there are a lot of like other candidates for the role of Victor Von Doom, and to me honestly, they said they wanted to up the prices, which is meh. That's what I heard. They wanted to like up the prices for the Xbox Game Pass. I'm like, bro, why? Xbox, you're already technically doing good with Game Pass. No need to like do more damage to your image than it already has, right? Game Pass is like one of the most like luckiest things that you have for gamers as of like today. Don't ruin it, you know? Don't ruin that shit. Anyway, but yeah, to me, like, Victor Von Doom feels like more situated to like the actors that I have like mentioned with like Javier Bardem and like Jeff and like Mads Mikkelsen, that give off like that visible like persona of like, you know, like the menace, you know, the evil like charisma about those characters, you know. I definitely like would love to see Victor Von Doom as played by like those characters, but now it's like RDJ is going to be playing Victor Von Doom, and no offense to RDJ or to like his like acting chops, but I just don't like see him as Victor Von Doom. Or sort of like Stark but with magic and more melee ass kicking. Yeah, I would like to see that. I would like to believe that. They want to keep Stark and Doctor Doom sort of like Stark but with magic and more melee ass kicking. Because here's the thing with like RDJ, there's a lot of like shit going on with like the whole situation around RDJ. RDJ has been known for the one particular role that stapled his career in the MCU, and that's being Iron Man. He is the OGest, he is the one and only like Iron Man in live action MCU sets. And yeah, and of course, right, there has been like let me see this. All the Fantastic Four movies have been boring as shit. True. Especially like him and Loki are like the biggest characters aside from Wolverine, right? And there's been a lot of like discourse in the social media as to like, you know, some people are praising RDJ for being like Victor Von Doom, and the other side is like, why? I'm just more like, you know, the in-between, right? I'm just more of the in-between because, you know, again, there are other candidates, but I want to believe that RDJ can pull off like range and vocals that could like fit Victor Von Doom, right? I'm tired of hero films, too many, right? Which is like exactly like one of the sub points that the Khaiza will like discuss, is that, you know, a lot of people will associate like a character, and this is like the toxic trait of like, you know, these types of like superhero films. There are like too many of them, MCU being the most general and the most publicly well-known movie franchise to date, is that a lot of people associate like those characters, you know, with those like respective like actors, right? Iron Man is the one and only like Robert Downey Jr. Chris Evans as like Captain America, Thor is Chris Hemsworth. They shouldn't, like, to them, they shouldn't be allowed to like play other like roles, you know, other than like, people get like weirdly like fucking attached to, you know, actors being or characters being like real life people, and they don't know how to associate, oh, these are fucking actors. These are fucking like actors, motherfucker. Like, what the hell? Like, are you fucking kidding me? You know? You know, there was like one interview speaking about such is that Anthony Mackie, right? He is the star of Falcon and Winter Soldier, or the next new Captain America. And he made like this interview is that, you know, actors aren't really like actors anymore, right? They don't feel like the stardom that they got like long ago because of like the rise of superhero movies per se. And this is like me paraphrasing like some of the shit that he said in an interview, is that there's no more like, you know, people finding out or like intrigued about like the actors. Rather, they're just there to see like the characters, because, you know, that's what people like look for, is the characters. Not like Ryan Reynolds or anything like that for like Deadpool. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool, but nobody else sees like Ryan Reynolds in other like movies that he has like done. Same goes for like RDJ, right? Like RDJ, outside of like Iron Man, has been in a multitude of roles, right? Other than just like, you know, what the social media plasters onto their like websites and forums, you know, outside of Iron Man, outside of Oppenheimer, right? RDJ was in very like low budget, low level movies, right? Did you know he played a black man in Tropic Thunder? That was his role, that was his character. Did you know he was Sherlock Holmes in the Sherlock Holmes movies? Did you know he was Dr. Dolittle? Another infamous doctor, but not as big and mighty, but he can talk to animals, right? Did you know he got arrested for drug possession, and he was on some really rocky shit until the turnaround happened where he absolved his sins and made a comeback of the century with Oppenheimer? RDJ's been through some stuff. He's not perfect by any and all means. He's like going through life as with the rest of us. Did you know Chris Evans was in a lot of like spin-off movies like Not Another Teen Movie? Did you know he was the first Human Torch in a Fantastic Four movie? Like, did you know he was the main character in Snowpiercer? That one movie about like the train to like, it's all snowing and shit, and they have to like fight their way to like the top of the train. Like each train is built upon like a different like social class. Did you know he was in that movie, chat? I sure as hell did. But yeah, like these are like actors, right? These are actors, and like, you know, I'm fine with like RDJ. I have like some qualms, but like people just like associate with like actors to like the characters, and they can't be like anything like else. People say, it's RDJ, it's RDJ, it's RDJ, right? Nobody knows RDJ. People know about RDJ because of the MCU, right? Like, fuck, man, like the old age of like Hollywood is like now over, because as the chat said, there's way too many there's way too many hero movies. The hero movies have become so dominant that some of like the other movies like some of like the lesser known movies, the movies are boring and lack the impact that they used to. Yeah, right? Especially for like Marvel, right? Marvel has been going through like a conundrum here and there, right? A lot of like phase 4 shit has been either like very good or very bad. You see a lot of like Twitter posts that say like, oh, Marvel is dead. Then the next movie, Marvel is back. Marvel is dead. Marvel is back. Marvel is dead. Marvel is back. People are so fucking like, you know, just so like, ah, man. Like some phase 4 shit is like really good, right? Like yeah, that is just like clickbait. Yeah, but still though, right? People still like complain about like Ant-Man, and there are some other stuff like, what was it, Guardians of the Galaxy being the best Marvel movie they made, you know, shit like that. It still like holds some like truth, right, to those like clickbaiting stuff, right? Marvel dropping Doctor Doom is like a sign of like a change up of what they're like originally planning on doing, right? As originally like stated, Avengers was supposed to be like the Kang dynasty, right? Which was going to be about like Kang the Conqueror. And a lot of the movies and TV shows were leading up to Kang the Conqueror as being the penultimate bad guy and the ultimate villain in the multiverse saga. But you know what happened to Kang, or at least like the actor? Yeah, he got charged with domestic abuse. He got charged with assault and battery. So Disney fired him, and never again will we see the light of day of him ever again. You know? So that of course has like a, you know, a preluding factor to like why the rush for like Doctor Doom, because now we've lost Kang. Marvel's like, what the fuck are we gonna do now? We gotta do something. Let's make Doom. Let's start implementing Doom as soon as we can to get like fan hype back. And honestly, right, like if you think about like Marvel villains in the grand like scheme, or like not the grand scheme, in the grand like pantheon of like Marvel villains, Kang the Conqueror is like alright, but they're not as big as Thanos or like Magneto, right? How do you top those characters? Or how do you be in the same like office meeting as Thanos or Magneto or Apocalypse? Just like these like infamous villains that went down in like Marvel history. You throw out Doom as early as like you can. The other weird thing that people taken a lot about for RDJ is that he's going to be like a variant, right? I think him like coming to like the MCU is not going to be like he's the one and only like Doctor Doom. I think they're going to be like, you know, doing some clickbait, click and switch shit, or sorry, not click and switch, bait and switch stuff with Victor Von Doom. That they're gonna have RDJ as like, you know, the voice of Victor Von Doom, and it could be like just like a turnaround, and we'll see like the actual Victor Von Doom, like face and all. Because most of like what Doom is, if I remember correctly, most of like what Doom is that he's like, his face is all like fucked up, hence why he wears like the mask. He puts on like the mask and assumes the role of like Doctor Doom. It's been a long time since I remember, Victor Von Doom lore, but that's like one gist of like the mask. So it could be like that, you know, like a bait and switch thing. But I don't have any like strong feelings for like, you know, the acting, for like the choice of RDJ. I think it's like cool. I'm 100%, I'm like cautiously optimistic down for like his take on Victor Von Doom. And also, of course, like Iron Man becoming Doctor Doom is like some issues in Marvel Comics that like that's like an actual thing. Like Iron Man, through some like events in MCU, like canonical story, is becoming Doctor Doom in a way. So that could also be like possible, right? But yeah, once again, I don't have any like strong feelings for like RDJ as like, you know, the titular villain. I think I want to believe he can do like 100% like good job and give it like his chops. But still, it's like, you know, man, just discourse about like the decision making for RDJ as like Doom. Like, yeah, it's okay to like, you know, have passionate like strong feelings for things like that, but you know, I think the thing is that I wanted to like get at is that with the whole like RDJ, there's not a lot of like room to be like, especially like nowadays, to be critical or like, you know, dissecting, inspecting, analyzing things. I mean, inspecting, analyzing, you know, for this, you know, like comic book like storylines is like cool, but not like, you know, something as like tantamount as like this, you know. I feel like we lost the art to just discuss, engage, critical think, like, you know, like explanatory essays back in like high school. I feel like we've lost that ability, you know. Iron Man, Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., whatever title you want to like call this, you know, thing, right? Yeah, like, why are people getting like so upset for like RDJ? Why is like Marvel like doing that? You know, and also like for Marvel, it's like an emergency button, right? Because of what the shit that happened with like Kang the Conqueror and stuff. This is like their version of like Final Fantasy VII Remake. Push the emergency button and we're back in business. Because, you know, yeah, that's true. People got mad with the actress that played Walter White's wife. People also got mad of like, what was it? House of Dragons? House of Dragons, the one like white-haired dude. The character was right, but was a cunt about it, but the actress did an amazing job. Exactly. They did like an amazing job. People get like so attached to like, you know, characters in like in film and lore that once again they don't know how to break off like, yeah, it's brand recognition, right? Yeah, that's like what we were like discussing like earlier, is that like Hollywood is like less Hollywood about like actors and stuff and more on like, yeah, this actor is now that character, therefore he's plastered in almost like every single like item, piece of like information like whatsoever. Oh yeah, true, they've always like done that. Yeah, they've always done that, but it's like more egregious now with like superhero stuff, because superheroes are like the mainstream. Too many people are like stupid, exactly. People would typecast it all the time. Right, exactly, so. Right? So, yeah, it's just like those things that, yeah, people are just like, it's just dumb. Nothing new is happening. Very true, nothing new is happening. Other than like, you know, announcements and stuff, but this is just like general like human behavior. It's just boring and used genre. Boring and used genre, exactly. So I'm okay with it, you know? Like battle royales, right? After like what was like the first battle royale? I think there's just like only like Fortnite. There could be like others before Fortnite, but I mean there's like what, Rumbleverse? Rumbleverse is a battle royale I still love to this day, but unfortunately it got canceled. Unfortunately, that game got canceled and will never see the light of day of Rumbleverse ever again. Yes, that's very true. They got evolved into extraction shooters. There we go. Right? Yeah, but it's like, yeah, so it's still is like a lot of things about Marvel right now, and there's like a lot of things to like, you know, just unpack, but I'm like okay with it. I'm like okay with it. I'm not totally like jazzed about it, but I'm just like, okay, cool. That's all right, and that's okay. We don't have to have like strong feelings of like whether you agree or disagree. It's also okay to have like the middleman route that like, oh, this is cool. It's not like one way or the highway. It's not one way or the highway, and that's practically almost like everything now in our like society. Punch Showdown is an amazing game, but it is tough as balls. Oh yeah, Punch Showdown, that's true. But I always argue with conviction. I always argue things with conviction. Yeah, that's very astute, right? I need more coffee. I need more coffee. So yeah, like, I think this is okay. This would definitely put Marvel in a high pedestal, more so than before. And we actually like, you know, give us like well, most of the Marvel fans and most of the Marvel MCU fans, give them reason to like be excited again, to hope in the sun again. But yeah, like it's just things. Like I could be like very passionate about stuff, right? I could be very passionate about like Power Rangers and like things of the like. But even I'm like a Power Rangers fan, fighting game fan. Even I know that I can be like critical of some things, right? There's nothing wrong with being critical. There's nothing wrong with like looking pros and cons about things. It's okay to be happy. It's okay to be, you know, jubilate with excitement, but there shouldn't be like too much excitement. There shouldn't be like, you know, either choose this way or that way. So I'm fine with RDJ. I'm fine with this. Do I think of like other actors that can like fit the role? Yes, absolutely. Is RDJ coming back and just like, you know, filling like the bank accounts of like Marvel? Absolutely. It is like grossing for like, you know, a lot of like money. Is there a reason for like Kang? Absolutely not now, because now that shit is null and void. That's okay. No one cares about Kang now. Are you gonna get X-Men back? Pretty soon. Pretty soon, you know. When are we gonna see mutants? Pretty soon as well, because Secret Wars is also a thing. So yeah, like, it's a lot. It's a lot to like digest, and what I like strongly like advocate is like my final message before we like end the video. Just like be critical about things. That's all like I ask. Again, we lost that ability, and we should like get that ability once again. You know, it's okay to like, it's cool to react. I'm 100% like a reactory channel for the most part. Seen all like my reactions? Shit. But there's always like time to like analyze and interpret and like discuss, and you know, that's like what I live for. It's like what I like doing, you know? So yeah, it's I'm okay with this. Let's just see like how it will all play out.